Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So, are we ready? Shall we start?
Yeah, please. You can start. Just a
So,
second. Yeah. Yes.
hello, everyone. I am Abhiruchi Lakras, an executive member at Legal Law Forum. We at the forum endeavor to promote legal education and awareness. And today we are at one of our such event, which is episode 25 of Llf Talks, and we have with us very brilliant Madam C.S. Ramneet Bhatia. She is a company secretary and compliance officer. And today we are going to discuss about corporate governance with her. So I'm sure most of you are aware that corporate governance is an increasingly important issue of the Indian economy. And we are here to discuss why it's so important. So ma'am, can you please give us a brief overview of what the topic is?
Okay. So the topic which I received was, it's actually diverse. It says corporate governance. Why it's so critical in India? So yeah, corporate governance itself is it's a big term which itself explains itself as a corporate governance. The term itself says the governance that a company should adhere to, the rules and regulations that should be governed by a corporate, the rules and regulations that should be adhered by a corporate to be regulated, to be controlled by the board of directors and the management. Yeah. So yeah.
Ma'am, so I was very curious to know that does it add any value to the company? I mean, on a monetary level. No,
Yeah.
right?
So basically, if it's not adding any revenue or it's not giving you profit, it's not adding value. Not just you, there are many people like that, but it's not actually like that. See, not directly, but indirectly, yeah, it does add value. For me, I would say that it is a hidden process that needs to be taken care of by the companies, you see, because directly it won't affect your revenue, it profit, but indirectly it will give you the brand, it is giving you the brand image, it is giving you the financial assistance, then it is helping the investors to, it is helping investors to gain the scenario of your company, what your company is actually working upon. And before taking you to the advantages, I would like to tell that I would like to throw a shadow or light on the disadvantages. That what if the corporate governance is not there in your company? So negatively, I would say that obviously if it's not there, then it like it is what can I say, that it is, if it is not there, it is obviously it is giving a bad brand image about your company. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, positive, it's there, that is giving you profit and to some extent and everything like that. But ambiguously, yes, it's affecting your company on a bad this thing. So somewhere or the other, not directly but indirectly, I would say that it is actually adding value to your company. Yeah.
Okay. Also, we have all heard about the term corporate social responsibility a lot.
Yeah.
So, how does that find footing in this corporate governance scenario?
Okay. So, corporate social responsibility, the word itself, it says that what you're taking, what is company actually doing? It's actually generating the business. So, what it's actually taking? It's actually taking money from the public, especially listed companies, if I would refer to. So, one should give back to the society what it has taken to it, is my this thing. So corporate social responsibility is one of those agendas. It is giving a good it is a good governance that you serve the society. However, how you do that, how you can do that through your health system, or through being just good to your employees, and like that. So yeah, to some extent, it is the more of uh, corporate social responsibility, the more good governance your company can give to the society. And whereas it is affecting you, it is giving a positive image, positive impact to your company as well, in terms of investments, or in terms of if an unlisted company is there, if it is planning to go for a listing in the future or something. So yeah.
Okay. And ma'am, what are the other aspects that affect a business? if their corporate governance is not very great. We have heard about various scams this year. We have had many stories, and Netflix and stuff. We have seen many stories like that. So how does that relate to the betterment of a company in terms of corporate governance?
Okay. So in India, it actually the word actually gained importance when the Satyam scan happened. If you're aware, or if anyone have heard about it, it was in 2009 that this scam had happened. So what was that scam actually? Actually that scam came in because in that scam, what it actually was that they've highlighted their profits in such a way to buy the assets, to buy properties out of people's money, out of public's money. So so actually it came in that the scams already happened, and there was a Kingfisher, this thing, as you've heard about the Kingfisher Airlines. Okay, in corporate governance, let me tell you that it's not basically, the companies are not basically, it's not like that the company does it voluntarily. Sometimes they doesn't know that they're doing unethical practices there. So scams can happen that way too. In case of Neerav Modi, if we say, it's not that voluntarily or with malified intentions, they're trying to just do this, and they have to take the public money. Or sometimes it's like in Kingfisher case, they doesn't even know that they are going ahead, that they're taking their debts more than they can. Obviously there was some default by the bankers and the auditors, obviously it was there, but sometimes involuntarily also the scams happen, I would say. Yes.
Okay. So, from what I know, with my limited knowledge on the topic, is that there are some regulations that supervise the whole corporate governance of a company. So, can you tell us more about that? Like SEBI, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and other bodies like that.
Sure. So for listed companies, as we are all aware that there's SEBI guidelines, there's SEBI LODR regulations, especially the regulations that govern the corporate governance is regulation 17 to 27. So there are numerous number of regulations, like there are regulations for the women directors and the independent directors in case, and the audit committee regulations, stakeholder committees there. Okay, so this is one of them. Then there is stock exchange listing agreements are there, where the role of board of directors or the CEO, CFO, these are defined. So this is another this thing. Then there's Companies Act. Obviously, Companies Act is there to govern the corporate governance and everything. Then there are ICSI, that is related to CS. There are also they have secretarial standards with them. That somehow highlight this thing, the corporate governance. Then in CAs, in ICAI, this thing, they have the internal control, financial internal controls are there. So so there are there are number of this thing that govern the principles of corporate governance, directly or indirectly, but it's there.
Okay, ma'am. Also, there are various factors of a company that make it into a good one, right? And there are many capital factors as well, and also a company merges and stuff like that. Other happens as well, which does affect its corporate governance. And why it usually happens because ऐसा भी बोलते हैं लोग कि अगर कोई कंपनी का कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस अच्छा है तो वो कंपनी की फुटिंग भी अच्छी है, मतलब यू कैन ट्रस्ट मोर ऑन इट. सो व्हाई डज दैट हैपन? हाउ डज दैट, मतलब वो बनाते कैसे हैं? देयर आर ऑल्सो, I also heard about this that a company has a certain influence in case of even mergers and acquisitions.
Right.
So can you cover that if possible?
Sure. Yeah, obviously it is there. It helps in mergers and acquisitions. Why? Because it is, what I can say, as I said, it is a hidden power. It is a hidden process that is to be there. So what the investors are searching when you're corporate governance is what it is disclosing. It is transparency. It is including a transparency, accountability, and it is fairness in dealings. So if these three pillars are there in corporate governance, this is what when someone is looking to buy, like some is looking to acquire, some company looking to acquire, it sees all these pillars, whether it is present or not, the transparency, the disclosures that have been made quarterly, annually, and they can keep a watch, that they can keep and watch on what the processes have been there. So for them, yes, it is attractive. Then for investors, it is attractive, and it can throw a highlight on how sustainable your company can be in the nearby future. So yes, it is helping mergers and acquisitions, and for both sides, I would say, not just the acquirer, not just the seller, but from the buyer side also. You see, if he's like willing to just sell off his business, obviously he'll also keep up with the norms. He will keep up with the code. He will keep up with the policy of corporate governance. He will keep it clear. He will keep his accounts clear. The auditors will be fair enough to audit this thing, because they also need to add value to their company, right? They also want to give a good value to your company, to just sell them. So from both sides, whether the buyer or the seller, for both sides, this thing will help. The corporate governance is contributing, basically. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, where does the shareholders' right come into place in corporate governance? While we are on the topic.
Okay. So shareholders' right, I would say that in Companies Act, I would say that in general meeting you must have heard about the resolutions that are passed, ordinary resolutions and special resolutions. So this is a big example. This is the main example of where the shareholder right come in. Number one, I would say. Then secondly, in practical sense, I can say the scams that have been there and everything. Then there is one section called operation mismanagement, if anyone has heard about it. So there it gives the rights to the minority shareholders, that they can exercise their power. So that is one of a kind. Then live example, I would say that last month, Yes Bank is a shareholder of Dish TV. If you're aware, so yeah. So Yes Bank is a shareholder of Dish TV for the Z Group. So it was all in the news that they gave a notice to them. So there what it comes as a shareholder's right. And what was for that? It was for the removal of a director. So they gave a notice. The Yes Bank gave notice to Dish TV to remove their director. So there what comes in the shareholder's right. This is what I can relate to as a corporate governance norm. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I had no idea that. Oh, that is really nice. Thank you so much for that information, ma'am. Also, you were speaking about listed companies initially when we started talking.
Yeah.
So, it is compulsory for listed companies to strictly comply with the provisions of corporate governance. So, what is the scenario with unlisted companies or startups, we can say?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, listed companies, there are very strict norms, as I've already told in my previous discussion, that SEBI is being strictly there, and the companies have to adhere to, otherwise there are consequences for listed companies. For unlisted companies, to some extent, obviously it's there because it is again governed by the Companies Act. So the rules, the provisions which are in Companies Act are again somewhere related to the SEBI also, like I already said about the women director, independent director. Then there is internal audit there, which is in Companies Act, that is governing the unlisted also. Okay. Then there are sectoral standards that are given by ICSI, then internal financial controls, ICI, and everything is there. Only the listed part, yes, it's not there. Other than that, in practical sense, I would say that most of the listed companies are there are group companies as well.
Right.
In case of listed companies. So leading to their parent companies, to some extent, it is complied with. The corporate governance is there to a good extent. Okay, because being the part of that group.
Right.
But yeah, mostly it's there, but to some extent, I would say that the companies that are listed, they mainly concentrate on the listed this thing, and the unlisted companies in their group, it gets left out for some part. Yeah, but not in all this thing, not all companies, but yeah, to some companies. So I would rather this is my point of view, that you should take care of your unlisted part also. in terms of
Right.
corporate governance, this thing. Other, obviously for startups and everything, where there are private companies who are, there are not much of these stricter regulations like in listed and unlisted as compared to,
Mhm.
if they does it voluntarily, somewhere there it is benefiting them also.
Huh.
Somewhere or the
Right.
other, like if they're planning for getting listed in future or something like that, obviously it's there. So it will help them in coming future and everything. Yeah.
Mhm. Ma'am, so you know what? We also talked about this, and you said that
Hmm.
it is not that they sometimes it happens कि ना जाने गलतियां हो जाती है और फिर it turns into a big scam.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't you think that there should be some checks and balances in place to avoid such happenings? And while we are on the topic of startups, what do startups do to prevent such things from happening, especially finance startup, I would say. So how do they work with corporate governance? I know we have already discussed, but just a few.
Okay, so for startups, I would say, for startups, I would say that they're somewhere or the other, like, I think they should more be concentrated on their ethical practices. Okay,
Okay.
because they should started ethically. Obviously the time they're in their time they're just incorporated, they can't do the corporate social responsibility, they can't just serve the society like a whole, like bigger
True.
companies do, right? So what they can concentrate is on the internal factors and internal stakeholders they are having, the people they're dealing with, the regulators they're dealing with, the customers, the suppliers they're dealing with, especially their shareholders. Mostly in case of startups, it is the inner part also, the family and everything, close knitted people are involved. So for
Mm-hmm.
corporate governance now, what can they can concentrate is on their business ethics, like again the dealers they're dealing with, the other stakeholders, which can give them a strong corporate governance, this thing. And once they start practicing, obviously it will go ahead and they can improve their business. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And what do you think about the corporate governance rules in India? And also reflecting back to our conversation, you were saying about group companies. So,
Yeah.
is there something different that we need to comply with in case of corporate governance for a group company and for some पेरेंट कंपनी और सब्सिडरी कंपनी? तो ऐसा कुछ होता है कि दोनों तरफ से प्रॉपर बैलेंस होना चाहिए, या फिर सिर्फ पेरेंट कंपनी कंप्लाई कर लेगी तो सब्सिडरी को वो चीज करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी? ऐसी कुछ इंट्रिकेट डिटेल्स हैं विच वी नीड टू नो अबाउट कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस.
So the basic Companies Act say that each and every corporate is a separate legal entity. I think everyone has said this is the basic this thing. So yeah, it is a separate legal entity and it has to comply with separate legal norms. It's not like if the parent company has done, the subsidiary doesn't have to do it. No, it's not actually like that. Obviously, the each company has its individual identity and each has to adhere to the corporate governance separately. If a woman director is there and listed in its group parent company, doesn't mean that subsidiary, if it's falling in that, doesn't have to follow. Are you getting my point? So
Yes.
yeah, so obviously each company has to follow as per its like or its regulation. If it's falling in that place, it has to follow the norms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last question I'll ask you. Then we can take questions from our audience.
Okay, I'm sorry. You just said the current situation in India, right? I think
Yes.
this is
Yes.
skipped. This part is
Yes,
skipped.
I was coming to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. You just said that, so yeah.
Yeah, I started the question with that, and I thought maybe I'll rephrase it for you again.
Okay. So the corporate governance in India right now, this is what you're trying to ask. Yeah.
Yes.
So in India, I think it has gained much importance, very much importance. What it was there 2 decades ago, it's not like that. It's been more good. More good practices, more good governance has been followed, especially after the Satyam scam, as I already said. Then there are scams, then other scams as well. And I would like to tell you that in Forbes list 2000, the 12 of the Indian companies, their name is there. 12 Indian companies' name is there in the Forbes list, and Infosys being the number one, being the 31st or 32nd, if I'm not wrong, in that list. So yeah, somewhere or the other, the Indian companies are also, practicing this thing, and they want to be good enough because you can see the investment comes from outside India also. So they are doing good in that term also. So
Right.
somewhere or the other, it's improving. It's improving. Not immediately. Like I would say, corporate governance is not reactive, but it is a proactive process. It's not that when the thing happens, you have to react. No, it's a proactive process. If you're thinking of getting listed, if you're thinking of getting investments in future, if you're thinking to take your company to a bigger, bright level, you have to start it proactively. You don't have to react, oh, now I have to go for merger, now I should start acting. No, it's not like that. So it's a long process, and it's a continuous process that has to be there for the sustainable business, for the sustainable governance. Okay.
Yes. All right. One last question. I just
Sure.
thought of it. I've also heard that it so happens that corporate governance structures varies from industry and to sector as well.
Right.
So, especially in banks and healthcare. So, how does that affect corporate governance?
Okay. See, corporate governance, okay, it is to be there for all companies, okay? It's not like sector, but yeah, if you have asked this, why banking and healthcare,
Yeah.
I would, in my opinion, see what government is actually concerned about. If I go to this level, it is concerned about the public money, for the people's money, for the people's money that are involved, especially in the banking sector. They're giving their money, they're putting their money in your banks for as they trust you, right? So so government doesn't want your money to be misused or go somewhere like in Satyam Scam it happened. It took
Right.
money from the public, and the person buy the owner buy the properties from that people's money. It shouldn't be like that. So that is why in banking channels, in banking industries, it is more of a concern to like keep the people's money more important. So that is why they are more stricter. They're more stricter in that case. Yeah. So in banking, it is like that. In health sector, health is wealth, health is money. So for a country like this, for a country like any country, the people's health is wealth of government as well. So if you compromise this sector as well, if you compromise with the governance in this, the in this sector, if the companies compromise, what if for their margin they're selling the 5 rupees product for a 10 rupees for margin and compromising on the quality? What if it's like that? It will somewhere affect the public at large. So so in my view, I think for that reason, the health sector and the banking sector is more concerned, and they're more stricter in this thing, corporate governance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a question from our audience. And Mr. Mandeep Malhotra is asking that how is corporate governance different in case if of banking and healthcare
Yeah.
industry?
Yeah. We are just done with it. We're just done with it. I think it's done.
Okay. Then there was one more question from Jannat, I guess. How is corporate governance different in case of, again, same question.
Same
How is
question.
basically, I believe they're asking that why is it, how is it different from banking and healthcare differentiation proper? But is there any? I don't think so. We have
No.
covered that already, right?
Different in case of banking. As you're aware, there is one question from Karan. Yeah. As you're aware that
Like,
most of listed entities, okay, you can read.
okay, are controlled by promoters because of majority shareholding. So the regulator should increase public shareholding to 30% from existing 25% minimum public shareholding.
So he's saying that it should be increased to 30% from existing 25 minimum public shareholding. Well, I would say what जिसको गड़बड़ करनी है वो तो 30 में भी तो 25 में भी कर देगा. So yeah, it is the government norm, and it is to some extent it is there that minimum 25% should be there, minimum public shareholding. That we need to fight with the regulators, I think, for this point. Majority
Okay.
shareholders. It
So how
hardly make it won't make any difference. You see, 25% is why 25% is because of the if he's aware that there are resolutions need to be passed. So 25% is a big stake if you can mold a resolution, I would say. So that's why it is there. The major 25% can mold a decision in the board meeting we're sitting, or in the general meeting where you are sitting and everything. So for that, I would say the 25% was there, but yeah, yes.
One more question, if we can take it. Can we throw some light on ICDR 22 regulations? ICDR.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah. Latest ones. जो अभी आए recent.
Recent ICDR regulations. Okay, I'll come with this, I think, in the next session.
Yeah, no problem. Then also, how has your company secretary journey been till now? And well, okay, I'm sorry. We'll take questions from the audience first, if that's all right. What are the norms related to employees? I mean, minimum wage and hours of working. Why are they not enforced?
See, this is totally different act. This is not the Companies Act actually. This is actually a Factories Act, and everything it's there. The minimum wages and hours. It is actually not governing the company's part here to that extent. Yeah.
Okay. One more question. Can you relate corporate governance to ancient times, and especially pillars of corporate governance?
Corporate governance to ancient time. Okay, this is interesting. Basically, corporate governance doesn't start. It is not started like this. It is way before. Like I already told, it came from Chanakya. Basically, it came from Chanakya. Yeah. So later it was named as Kautilya's Arthashastra. If there are some company secretary students, they must be aware of this, because this is the basic this thing. So yeah. So it started with the Kautilya's Arthashastra, where Arthashastra is basically the economics. It is basically the economics. So what it says that how a king should rule, how a king should govern its empire. So it throws lights on the 4 duties of king. That is what I think they're asking. The 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are that I can compare that 4 pillars with the today's corporate governance, if I would say. So first one was the Raksha, that is to protect, protect the interest of the stakeholders. If I'm comparing it with now, then there's Raksha, then there's Palna, that is growth, the growth that the company, the management should take care of. Then there's Raksha, Palna, then there's this thing. Vriddhi is there. Vriddhi is growth, and Palna is maintained. That is to comply with the rules and regulations. Then there's Yogakshena, that's to serve the society, what we have taken from them. So yeah, this is basically the 4 pillars.
I can relate to some from our discussions earlier.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah. So in modern time, it is like accountability, fairness, and transparency. It's there. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah. That's nice that we have such ancient roots, even in corporate governance.
Yes.
Okay. So final concluding question, and then we'll move on to the vote of thanks. Ma'am, how has your journey been as a company secretary so far, and what are you looking forward to?
Okay. So it's been amazing. Like I did my graduation, and then I came to this profession. Very clearly, I was sure that I wanted to do this only. Then I completed it. Then I went to JK Tires for my management training. I learned a lot there. So I have experience of listed companies and compliances as well. Then Tushti happened, and I'm working as a team leader here since 14 months, I think now, 13, 14 months. It's been amazing. And what I'm looking to be happy and getting improved day by day. And no one is perfect. I'm looking to more these things and more sessions like this, obviously.
Of course. It was highly informative. Yeah. Yes, please go on. You were saying something.
Yeah, so for your knowledge, this is my first ever session I have taken live and like this.
Oh, and very
Yeah,
insight,
yeah.
very insightful one. So congratulations for that.
Thank you to Legal Law Forum for approaching me for this. Like, I wouldn't have thought of doing it like this, but yeah, finally it came like this. So yeah, I'm very happy for that as well. And
And
thank
we
you
are,
for being a very good host. And
oh,
yeah,
my pleasure, ma'am. It's my pleasure. No, we
okay.
are very happy that you gave us your precious time and came here to
Okay.
discuss a very important topic with us. It was very
Yeah.
insightful. I'm sure everybody in the audience agrees.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your time. It was very insightful and half an hour full of learning.
Yeah.
So
I
at
hope,
last,
yeah.
yes,
Sorry.
please go on.
Yeah, I hope you got the enough information with this because it's a very vast topic and I can go
Right.
on and we can go on just saying about it. It's never ending because such a vast topic it is. So I
No, we
try to
had
confine it as much as I can. I just try to confine the points where, you know, yeah.
yeah, we had great questions from our audience as well. We should thank them for this.
Yeah,
Also, I
yeah,
know all
thank
your
you.
questions got cleared. Right. See,
Yeah,
many of them are saying good session and thank you, ma'am. So we'll bid adieu with that. So thank you so much
yeah.
for joining. Hope you have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you. Thanks to you too. Thank you.